Each year, there is a mismatch between America's revenues and the money that it spends. In other words, the American government spends more than it takes in or earns. And why is that happening? There are a host of reasons for this. The first is demographics. You see, America is undergoing significant demographic change. The society is aging as the large baby boom generation begins to retire, and reports say over 10,000 people will turn 65 every day till 2029. Moreover, people are expected to live longer on average. That is great news, but it means that America must also pay for the financial needs of longer retirement. And these huge demographic trends put increasing pressure on the federal budget, and in particular on vital programs that serve older and vulnerable Americans, like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. And the second reason is rising healthcare costs. In many ways, healthcare is the most important issue for America's fiscal and economic future. It represents nearly 1/5 of America's entire economy, and it is the second fastest growing part of the budget. That said, America does not really get what it pays for. It spends over twice as much on healthcare as other advanced countries. This spending is projected to rise by 68% over the next decade and will exceed all other categories of federal spending in 2030. But the services it provides are not paid for in their entirety by the people. And this leaves the healthcare sector with a significant debt. The third driving factor behind America's debt burden is inadequate revenue. The U.S. tax system, you see, does not generate enough revenues to cover the spending policymakers have enacted. And this rapidly growing imbalance between the revenues and the spending leads to higher and higher annual deficits. And the result is an increasing national debt. The result is this: America could hit its first ever debt default. And this default could drop America's gross domestic product, or GDP, by 4%. It could lead to 7 million workers losing their jobs and lead to $750 billion in higher federal borrowing costs over the next decade. Just to put it simply, a debt default could harm America's global leadership position and raise questions about its ability to defend its national security interests. And this, by the way, is something that America cannot afford right now, given how China and Russia could try to take advantage of this on the world stage and embarrass Washington. So is there a way out of this? Well, for this crisis to be resolved, the Republicans and the Democrats will have to strike a compromise, an agreement to raise the debt ceiling.